Hello, dear ones. How have you been doing? I hope that you are doing fantastic. Just like last week, this week I have a super cool story to tell you. Do you remember the story I was telling you last week about David and Goliath, the giant? And David was just a little child, right? So this week, the story is after David was already old. And it's basically about his son. He had a son called Solomon. And that kid, when King David was becoming old, became the king. But our story, what I really want to talk to you today about is what we really, the whole meaning for this story is about wisdom. Have you heard of wisdom before? I bet you have, right? So let's say I'm going to give you a little example of wisdom. So my eyes is what they call nearsighted, which means that anything really far from me, it's all fuzzy. I can see right. There's also people where they call farsighted, which means if they read, they can't really see things right. So things are fuzzy too. Now, if I put on my glasses, voila! When I put on my glasses, I can see things clearly, much better. And this is what wisdom does for us. Wisdom makes us see things clearly. We can see much better. We can understand better. Now I wonder, what does that eyesight have to do with the story? Well, I just gave it as an example of what wisdom looks like. But I'm going to read you this story and then we're going to talk about it, okay? So let's see the story. In the story, it's called Solomon Prays for Wisdom. And it's written in the book of 1 Kings 2, verses 1 to 4, and 1 Kings 3, verses 1 to 15. King David was very old. Remember, same King David who fought Goliath. He was now very old. It was time to choose a new king. The new king would be David's son, Solomon. One night, while Solomon was sleeping, God came to him in a dream. God told Solomon he could ask God for anything. King Solomon decided to ask God for one thing only, wisdom. God is very wise, and King Solomon knew God could help. So Solomon was very young, and he wanted to be a good leader of Israel. God was very happy with Solomon's request for wisdom. God told Solomon that he would help him be wise and help him make good choices, decisions. So God blessed Solomon and promised to be with him forever. When Solomon woke up from his dream, he gave thanks to God. Now, have you ever asked God for something that is not a real object, or like a toy or a fun vacation or a new pet? I wonder what that would be. Solomon, he thought people really looked up for his dad, who had been King David, right? King David was very wise. Remember that God blessed, anointed King David with all the good things because he became a very good and wise king. So Solomon, his son, thought, I kind of know what I could do, but I really want to be wise. And wise is making good decisions, knowing that will help others and not make them even sadder than they are. So I wonder, what kind of decisions and things were you thinking you can do? What is wise? What do you think, yep, I learned that, and this is really good if I do. Can you think of anything? I bet you can. So we can think about that together, right? Let's think about that. What are the things we can do that are very wise? But in all that, we can always ask God for help. In prayer, we can ask God to give us exactly what we need. And being wise, having wisdom, is one of the best presents we can get. In the Bible, there is a book called Proverbs, and it's a beautiful book. So they say that most of the stuff written in the book of Proverbs was Solomon, the one who asked God for wisdom, who wrote about, so we can learn from it. Here are 2 examples of what Solomon wrote. In Proverbs 2, verses 6, it says that the Lord gives wisdom. From his mouth comes knowledge and understanding. The other example is Proverbs 19:20 that says, listen to advice and accept instruction, so you might grow wise in the future. Have you ever gotten any good advice from somebody and follow it so you became wiser? Well, let's talk about that and give you a little example of what it could be to listen to advice and become wiser. I came outside, but they told me to put a coat on because it's cold and raining. Why didn't I listen? I'm gonna put a coat on quickly and go inside again. Well, here's my coat. I'm gonna put it on. I feel much better now. I should have listened. And that's why to be wise and ask for wisdom is one of the best gifts we could ask for. How can we do that? Well, we can ask God in prayer, but we can also listen to people who know better, right? Who have gone through things. So if your parents say to you, maybe you should take a coat because it's really cold today, maybe you should listen because they are wise, right? They know better. Or take an umbrella. It's going to really rain today. Maybe you should listen. Or maybe, how about if you do this or that? And you think, why should I do this or that? Well, maybe because your parents are wiser and want to teach you so you can become a wiser adult too. So this week, think about things you can do and where you can use your wisdom. How can you make good choices? And perhaps that will really help you see better. Have a wonderful week. So today we talked about how God gave Solomon wisdom and God gives you wisdom too. Remember when I told you? God sees what's in our heart. So that's what's important. So today I will do with you a little bit different prayer than we usually do. And it's more like something you can remember to do. So it goes like this. Top of your head. I am wise. I am smart. I listen to God and I give God my heart. Amen. Let's do it again. I am wise. I am smart. I listen to God and I give God my heart. Amen. I hope this week you can find wisdom and I hope you can share your wisdom. Things that you know and that can help somebody else. That's the wisdom you carry on. And that's the wisdom that God gave you. So use it wisely. Have a wonderful, blessed week. Bye.